I popped into my silver dealer today to get some quarters because I want to do a junk silver hunt and fill episode on one of my silver Washington quarter books. But while I was there, he said he had a bag of things he doesn't normally hold on to and asked me if I wanted them. So for a really low price, he tossed these in with the quarters. Hey everyone, it's RobFindsTreasure. Welcome back to my channel. We'll be doing a silver quarter hunt and fill video in the next few days. But for today, I'm really excited to get into this bag of goodies. Like I said in the intro, my silver dealer who buys a lot of silver from customers occasionally gets some other things that he normally doesn't purchase. But I always tell him that if he ever gets anything that he doesn't keep, go ahead and hold it for me, and for a fair price, I'll pick it up from him. Well, as sort of a package deal, since I bought all of his silver quarters, he gave me this bag at under $100. Definitely excited to get into it. Now, I don't know if I got a great deal on it. I see a lot of buffalo nickels. I think I saw a shield nickel in here. I see a lot of Indian heads and things like that. So no matter what, it's still going to be a fun hunt to go through. And I figured I'd bring you guys along for the ride. Now, the first thing I have to do is dump all this out and go through the painstaking but fun process of sorting them by denomination and design types. Now, looks like it's mostly going to be nickels and copper cents, but could be some other things in there. I won't know till I dump it out. Let me go ahead and dump it out and start the sort process and see what we got. We're going to do the best we can. This could get pretty messy, but let's just go ahead and dump it out. It's not going to be the sound of silver. But it's still the sound of coins. Holy cow, there's a lot of coins in here. Man, it looks like a lot more than what was in the bag now that it's laid out. I have no idea what we're going to have in here, but looks like we got some repurposed or replated steel cents. Looks like we got some buffalo nickels. I do see some Liberty V nickels in here. Yeah, let's get right into it. Got some Indian head cents. We'll have to see what we got. Let me go ahead and separate it by design and denomination type, and if I happen to find something crazy while I'm sorting, I'll bring it back, but I'm going to try not to look at any dates. I just want to get them segregated first and see what we got. I'll be back with either a cool find or after the sort. I'm back because I have kind of a cool find. I'm just sorting all the goodies, and I did notice we had a couple of flips. There's a cleaned Indian head cent, not sure why it's in a flip. We do have an 1883 no cents V-nickel in decent shape. And take a look at this 1938 Denver Buffalo nickel. Man, that's a beauty. Holy cow. So I guess that's why they were in flips. But I bring in because I just found a Flying Eagle cent from 1857. Can't get mad at that. Wasn't expecting to see a Flying Eagle in there. Anyway, let me keep sorting. I'll be back in just a moment. Well, we're almost done with the sort. There's an obscene amount of buffalo nickels, and there's a lot of nice ones too, and there's some uglies. But I bring in because I just noticed we have a largie. And I think that is, man, that's tough to see the date. Maybe you guys can read it better. Let's see if I can scope it really quick. Ah, there we go. 1840. It's corroded, but it's a large cent nonetheless. We'll take that, and I think I'll go ahead and mention we had a couple of gold-plated or at least plated V-nickels, and typically you see that on the 1883 no cents V-nickel, but I went ahead and took a peek at both of them because they were 1912, and this 1912 has a mint mark, and I believe it's a 1912 Denver. So slightly better date, but in this condition, it's been altered, so it's really just coal. Anyway, the final thing I want to bring up is we saw it, or at least I saw it in the bag, and we have a shield cent as well. And I think that's an 80s. That's an 1882, and I'll have to take a look at the mintage on that. That too is pretty beat up, but either way, nice to see that as well. Let me finish the sort, and I'll bring you back in with what we have. All right, we have got the sort done. First and foremost, all of the wheat cents are in here, and I will make mention that there could be some memorial backs because I did spy by the reverses that we had 4 memorial backs in there. One's a really nice 1959, which you guys know I keep. So I put that to the side. We also had a 48 Jefferson nickel in there. Nothing good about that. And then even a zinc cent, 1996. It's nice, but don't really need that one. You saw the Flying Eagle? These are the nicer wheat cents that I didn't want to throw just in here and have them get shooken up or damaged. And then we even had an 1859 no shield Indian head cent. We'll take that. That's all the Buffalo nickels. I kept the 38D in the plastic flip for now because it's so nice. You saw the large cent, a couple of gold-plated 1912, one's a Denver. That's the 1883 no cents that was in the plastic flip, but we took it out. It's nice, but it's not that nice. You saw the shield cent, and actually a pretty good amount of V-nickels that I'm excited to go through. And like I said, I've not checked any dates really on these other than the memorial backs because I was like, what is that doing in there? And some of the other miscellaneous finds that you saw. There is a lot to sort here, and because I have my Lincoln penny mat out, I think what I'll do first is go through all of the wheat cents. I'm not expecting anything fantastic. Obviously, I'll give you guys a good look at these wheat cents since they're pretty nice, and I'll see what kind of Indian head cents we have. But this is probably just going to go back into my rolls unless there's a better date or a key date or some good dates in here, which we won't know until I do the sort. Let me do the copper first, and I'll bring you guys back in after I've got them sorted or if we have a really nice find. All right, we have sorted the wheat cents, and I was going to bring you guys back in as I found stuff, but then I was like, you know what? This is going to be a long video. Let me just do a quick recap. These are the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. And for those wondering, I did check for the major varieties. I didn't check for all the RPMs and things like that. Most of these are in well-circulated condition. So if they were to have a variety, they wouldn't look as good or be worth as much. But I will go back and check some of the teens like the 1917. I didn't bother checking any 17 fillies for DDOs yet. That being said, here are the better finds. All of these are the shinier, nicer, more red-brown wheat cents. We've got 3 1948 fillies. We've got a 48 Denver and a 48 San Francisco. We've got 2 1949 beautiful Philadelphia wheat cents, 2 49 Denvers, and 2 49 San Franciscos. For 1950, we got 2 50Ps, and take a look at that second one. A 50D and a beautiful 50S. And then move up to 1957P, 2 57Ds, and a 1958P, not the DDO. That's the nice ones. I'll be checking all of these against my personal collection to see if anything upgrades. I doubt it, but we got to take a peek. As far as the older finds, we had one 1909. I can't tell if it's a VDB or not because it's pretty corroded, but there is no mint mark. We did have 4 1909 VDBs, and I can see the VDB on them with the naked eye, but I can even scope it. And they're definitely 1909 VDBs. Of course, none of them have a mint mark. We actually got a 1914S. I got nervous when I first saw it. I thought the S could have been a D, but it's an S, and I'll still take it. That's a better date, even in that condition. We actually got a 1922 Denver. It's got a hole in it. It's damaged, but definitely a 1922 Denver. So we'll take that, slightly better date. And then we even had one more memorial back cent that was in there. It's copper. It is a 63D, so I did go ahead and check it in case it was put in there because it had a variety. But I don't see the 63 DDO. You would see it right there inside the bottom loop of the 3 and a little tail at the bottom. But definitely not that. Nothing special. I'll just put it with my copper. That's going to conclude the wheat cent part of this hunt. I'm going to put those all into my collection. I'll check these against my album, see if we have any upgrades. But these always go in my BU type rolls because they're so nice. And then these we'll put to the side as well. Next up, we have the Indian head cents. You guys already seen the 1859 and the Flying Eagle from 1857. But we still have those to sort through. And after I get those sorted, I'll bring you back with a recap of the Indian head cents next. Here are all the Indian head cents. Pretty good variety of dates. We got 09, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 1900. And if you're wondering, there is no varieties that I can see on any of these and no mint mark, especially on the 09s and 08s, of course. We've got 1898, 97, 91. The 91's actually kind of nice. Doesn't have any real lettering in Liberty on the headband, but still a pretty nice overall cent for as old as it is. 1890, 88. We have an 1886. It's pretty damaged, but it is a variety too, a little bit more valuable than the variety 1. I can tell by the placement of America. near the headband. But either way, we'll go ahead and put that aside. The 1859 and the 1857. None of these are going to upgrade my collection. I will double check these two to see if they do, because my older Indian Head cents and Flying Eagle cents aren't the nicest. So I'll check those for an upgrade. Next, we'll move on to the Liberty V nickels, because there's not as many of them. And once I get those sorted by date, I'll bring you back in. And then, of course, the Buffaloes we'll save for last. All right, we have got the V nickel sorted. And, man, what a good variety. We got the gold-plated 1912 P and D. We've got a bunch of 1912s here. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1900. 1899, 1898, 1897, slightly better date, 1896, although it's pretty slick in general, and these only fetch more in higher grade. We actually had an 1892 in decent shape. I'll take that. Maybe I need it for my book. And then, of course, that really nice 1883 without the cents on there. Now, that is what we have in the V-nickels, and there are some nicer V-nickels in here. Nothing extremely great, but that 1909 I think I saw was pretty nice in general, so maybe that'll be an upgrader as well for my collection. But I'm pretty confused right now, because under the scope, I have a 1912 and it has a mint mark. Now, we have the gold-plated Denver mint mark, but the San Francisco is the key date one. You guys tell me if I'm seeing things, but is that a 1912S? That looks like an S to me. First, I thought it was just a damaged Denver, but I think I see some splitting in the middle, and it could just be damaged. That could be a Denver, man. But if that's a San Francisco, even in this corroded, and it looks like it might have been either nickedated or treated condition, but it looks like it could be a San Francisco mint mark. Could just be me. Maybe I'm seeing things, but that does look like there's a little bit of an S here instead of the Denver. It's probably just a Denver that is beat up, but man, I've been staring at it a little bit, and I'm a little bit confused. Thought I'd get some opinions down below. What do you guys think? Denver mint with some damage? Or maybe San Francisco? That looks more like a Denver in hand now, doesn't it? All right, we're going to call it a Denver just for safety purposes. Either way, nice assortment. Now I have to go through all of these, compare them to my current collection, see if I have any upgrades or additions, and maybe in these earlier years I might. We'll have to see, but I'll do that, and then we'll move on to the Buffaloes next. This video is going to be long, and I'm sorry for it. Let me go ahead and check these, and I'll be back with the Buffalo sort. Well, that took some time, and for sake of time, I'm just going to quickly run through what we got here. 38D, 37 PD&S, 36 PD&S, 36P was the winner by far, but of course that was the most minted Buffalo nickel that I can recall. Over 115 million minted. 35 PD&S, 34 P&D, no 31s, 30 P&S, 29 PD&S, 28 PD&S, 27 PD&S, only 26 Philly. Of course, the Denver and San Francisco are better dates. 25, only the Philly. Of course, Denver and San Francisco better dates. 1924, we got the Philly and the Denver. No 24S, of course. For 1923, we got the Philly and the San Francisco. For 1921, we got the Philly, no San Frans. 1920, PD&S. 1919, 18, 17, 16, no 1915s, a 1914, and I think that was a Philly, if I recall. Actually, it has a mint mark. And the 1914's an S. My bad. So 1914S, slightly better date right there. Can't get mad at that. We'll take a 1914S, and that would have been nicer than the Denver, of course, but we'll take it either way. So let me bring that down to the S section. And then take a look at this 1913 Type 1. No mint mark, though. Buffalo nickel. And then a 1913 Type 1. Pretty slick. Denver mint mark, but you can see it. We'll put it under the scope just to make sure it's a Denver. Yes. And then we have a stack of either nickedated or ones I can't discern a date on. We have a couple here that need to be nickedated, but it looks like they might have mint marks, so I want to check those out. And then we have a 1913, I know it is, because it's a type 1 reverse, but I can't see if there's a mint mark. It's pretty damaged, but might be a candidate for nickel-dating as well. We'll have to see. I'll probably include these in my nickel-dating video that I'm going to have coming out here in the next week. There are a lot of nice nickels in here. I only took what I considered mint state ones out, and you guys have already seen the one that was in the flip by itself, the 38D. In that stack, the best of all the nickels was this 1935. I think it might still qualify for a mint state. 1935 Philadelphia has original mint luster, but there are a lot of really nice nickels in here. And so what I need to do now is just run through them all, take the best of every year in mint that I have, and then once I do that, I'll bring you back really quick for a quick panoramic view of what we got, because those are the ones I'm going to check against my Buffalo album to see if we have any upgrades. Well, we finished sorting through all of them, and I chose the best of every year in mint. There were some close calls, some ties. Maybe the obverse was a little better than the reverse on some, but I tried to choose the ones that were the best overall, either because they had full horn detail or close to full horn detail, or they would just look nice in an album. So I'm just going to run through them really quick so you guys can see. These are the best nickels of every year in mint. Of course, there's some that are not as nice, some that may have been polished years ago, but full dates and or full mints, you can read them all. Definitely nice seeing them, and I wish I had more time, but this video is super, super long, and I just want to give you a good look at them. My favorite one, even though it's not the most valuable, is this really nice 1913 Type 1. I already have a really high grade one in my set registry, but still a really nice one to see. And then, of course, you saw the two gems of the bunch, the 38D and the 35P, which I will leave in flips. None of these need to be flipped up, but all of these are going to be checked against my collection, and I'm going to do that really quick, compare and see what I have for upgrades and or additions. I don't think I have any additions, but maybe an upgrade or two, and then I'll come back with some final thoughts on this hunt and a quick wrap-up. All right, I've compared the finds to the album, and I'll be honest, I had about 9 upgrades from that hunt, except for I'm not going to be upgrading the book with these. I'm going to send these off for grading. They're just too nice. I don't know what I'll get. I haven't really scrutinized them, but I would imagine somewhere in that MS 60 to 65 range. I'll take a closer look and see. But the one that I pulled out of the bag might be a high AU. We'll have to see what they get. Just for fun, I'm going to get them graded. I also was able to get a Buffalo nickel starter set, 38 of them, 38 different dates and mints. Some were replacements for mine. Some are not that great. I pulled out anything that was nickel-dated or heavily corroded. Even if you could read the date and mint, I didn't want to have something like this that bad, except for the 23S. There is a gash on it, but I'm going to leave it like that because it is a tougher date to get just normally. Well, this has been a long video, and I want to apologize for it. Hopefully you guys found this video fun. I know it was a lot of fun going through that bag, and I'm pretty sure I got my value back and then some. Very cool of my silver dealer to hold on to these side things that he doesn't keep just for me, and definitely made for a good video. Before I say my goodbyes, I do want to mention, in case I didn't say it, I can't even remember, it's been so long, but I also got a V-nickel starter set that has 20 different ones, and even an 18 Indian head cent starter set as well. So pretty cool overall, and like I've said a few times, very fun for me. If you guys enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate that thumbs up. If you want to see more like this, please leave that in the comments down below. And as always, everyone, happy hunting, and thanks for watching.